Hey guys, this is Calculus Family. In this lesson, I'll be taking you through the arc length of vector functions. In our previous lessons on vector functions, we looked at how to graph vector functions, how to find the tangents, the binomial vectors, as well as the normal vectors of vector functions. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about arc length. What do you mean by arc length of a vector function? Remember that generally a vector function r of t is given as a function with its terms f of t, g of t, and h of t. So it's simply having a vector whose elements are functions. This gives us what we call a vector function. Once you have this written, what's the idea of arc length? Remember that a vector function is simply giving us the idea of the position of a particle. So we call it position, okay, of a particle in space. Now, at any time t, the position of the particle will change because in our 3D, as we have our z, we have our x, and we have our y, realize that at a time t equals 1, we may have our particle here, depending on, so at t equals 1, remember the parametric form of this vector function is equal to s is equal to a function of t, y is equal to a function g of t, then z is equal to a function h of t, meaning that at any time t, you get different values for x, y, and z. Therefore, our point to keep on changing space, changing position, right? So the path at which this point will take over a certain interval is what we call the arc length. So it's like you actually measuring the length of a particular hot arc or any curve in space. That is the whole idea. Okay, that's the whole idea of arc length of vector functions. Okay, so basically we say that an arc length is given by, remember we are looking for distance, right? So there is a main difference here. We have displacement, then we have arc length. If I want to find the displacement of a particle, I only need the endpoints, this and this, right? I can find the actual distance between the two endpoints. That gives me the total displacement. That is its change in position from this point to this point. But the arc length is interested in following the path of the particle to its endpoint. So we integrate over that whole interval, considering every point within this space. Therefore, arc length is given as integral from a to b, square root of the function. So we have f prime of t all squared plus g prime of t all squared, right? Then plus. So for a two valued or two variable vector, you have this and this only. In a situation of three, you have h prime of t all squared, right? Like this. Then you introduce your dt. So this whole term here, remember, in our previous lesson, represents what we call the tangent vector, right? So this is our tangent vector here, representing the rate of change, right? The unit length of the rate of change of our function. Multiplying the time will give us a distance, apparently L. That is the whole idea. So arc length can simply be simplified as L is equal to integral from point A to B of the unit length of our tangent vector r prime of t dt. As simple as that. So once you have this done, let's solve a problem so that you see how arc length is truly found using vector functions. So I have a problem here, and it says that determine the length of the curve r of t given as 2t, 3 sine 2t, 3 cos 2t on the interval 0 less than or equal to t less than or equal to 2 pi. All right. So solution, to solve this problem, we just take our r of t, which is given as 2t, comma 3 sine 2t, comma 3 cos 2t. And our interval is given as what? So our interval is given as 0 less than or equal to t less than or equal to 2 pi. What do we need? you just quote the formula. So our L is simply equal to integral from 0 to 2 pi, right? Then we have our length of our tangent vector r prime of t dt. So here our interest is to find r prime of t. So what is r prime of t? I'll simply differentiate each component. Differentiating 2t, I'll get 2, comma. When I differentiate this, I'll get 6 cos t, 6 cosine 2t, sorry. Then when I differentiate this, I get negative 6 sine 2t. Once I have this done, I need to find the length of what my tangent vector r prime of t. So what do? I take the square root, the square of 2 squared plus 6 cosine of 2t squared plus negative 6 sine of 2t squared, right? So what do I get from this expression? I'll end up getting square root of the expression. This will give me 4, right? Plus this will give me 36 cosine squared 2t 2t, right? Plus 36 sine squared 2t. And obviously we can bring in trig functions here, and this will give us square root of, remember we can factorize 36 out, then cosine squared 2t plus sine squared 2t will give us 1. So our answer will be 4 plus 36, and this will end up giving us square root of 40, which is also 2 roots 10, right? Now we have our length of our tangent function. Therefore, our L is simply equal to from 0 to 2 pi, the expression 2 root 10 dt, meaning 2 root 10 multiplying hot t from 0 to 2 pi. Is that not it? When I put 2 pi, what am I getting? I'm going to get 4 pi root 10 minus, when I put 0, everything is 0. So the answer is simply equal to 4 pi root 10. And that is all I have for you in this video. Do well to subscribe and please join the family. Share to your friends as well. See you.